2001 up through 2005, there was a growing presence of hardened Chicago gang members that were coming out to Rockford and taking over the drug business. Word began to spread about this guy named Duck and members of the Titanic Stones.
You kept hearing his name Duck, that he was from Chicago, that he was putting on a lot of dope here in Rockford. He's just a young guy, but he had a real reputation. People were afraid of him, just a little guy. The talk in the street, informant information was that this group run by Duck, Titanic Stones, were trying to take over the drug trade in Rockford, and they were moving real strong.
When they arrived here in Rockford, there was definitely a power struggle, Chicago versus Rockford. We'd have our robberies, our shootings. There have been murders here.
Every so often, somebody comes into power. It's just like anything else in life, you know, any business or any, you know, something always rises to the top. It was an epidemic. That's basically what it was. They were shooting a lot of people.
Random gunfire was taking place, a lot of it directed to housing developments in the city. We were having multiple shots fired during these shootings. There was one particular incident that took place on Underwood Street on a Saturday afternoon. There was a running gun battle in the middle of the street. There were 60 rounds exchanged. There were 60 casings in the street. And it was a miracle that nobody was killed. I mean, there were children out playing, the rounds were flying, and everything went back to Duck.
Now we're coming up on Central. We're still on the west side of town here in Rockford. We're going to go by the Auburn Street McDonald's where Julio Allen, a member of an opposite gang here in Rockford, was confronted by Doug Davis and Bradford Dotson.
Bradford Dotson, who had the nickname of Hustler, played the role of enforcer. Duck's orders at the McDonald's restaurant at Auburn and Central tried to carry out a hit in retaliation for a home invasion at one of the gang's drug houses. They found out Julio Allen was there. Davis gave the order, and Bradford Dotson fired several rounds through a plate glass window.
When you got someone firing rounds inside a McDonald's like that, that's unacceptable. That's when I said, I want this Duck. This guy has got to go down. We initiated a federal case. Did an awful lot of surveillance, following people, watching people, talking to informants. We started to see the pattern, the way they were selling narcotics was the same. He was using different locations in the city, renting houses. Normally he would have a lady rent the house in her name. Nobody would live there. They would just use it strictly to sell drugs.
The Rockford Police Department had executed search warrants at many of these drug houses and only gotten small quantities of crack cocaine or heroin, almost always heroin, and he was never there. He wasn't the one selling it. We were lucky enough to have a confidential informant who was providing us with a wealth of information and told us that she had been approached and asked if she would be interested in renting a house on behalf of Duck and the Titanic Stones.
I was selling crack, I was selling dime bags, 20s, 8 balls. I mean, I was good at it. I'm not gonna sit there and say I was good at it. I just slipped up one time because I was drunk. I was messed up and forgot to take it out and went to jail, and they found me in the jailhouse. Duck looks like the coolest person. I'm talking about like the coolest person. You look into it, you be like, oh, he's a low Canadian, but he's the scariest person. If you get to know him and you see how he really is, he's the dangerous man in period I ever seen in my life because he's very dangerous. I'm talking about he had more power than Scarface. That's how I'm telling you. That man was big, big. They would have killed me if they found out I brought them down, I went down. They would have killed me, I'll be dead. I mean, it's a chance I had to take.